Much of the Eurogroup debate, caught between a desire for solidarity and a reluctance to sign off on uncapped debt. Instead, it pushed for the compromise that was agreed last night. Well, the country's finance minister, Edward Cicluna, joins us now from Valletta. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Can you give us an idea, before we talk about the deal that you were part of finalising yesterday, what kind of financial situation Malta is in and the impact of the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, on the health side, we seem to be starting with a lag compared to our neighbours. So it looks like it's contained, but you never know. But we are sort of at the beginning. We have managed to delay it as much as possible and also, as we say, flatten the curve. We've been successful so far, and we hope we will continue. On the economic front, we have more space, more fiscal space, because we brought our debt from 73% over the last 7 years to 43%. So there is that leeway and space, which is so needed in a time of crisis like this one. Not all countries are in that position. So this is, we have offered our own national package. We couldn't wait, like many other countries, for the EU for us to agree at EU level. We had to act very fast. And we offered a lot of tax deferrals to provide liquidity to enterprises, and also provided a wage support with a basic wage for those whose activity, especially in the tourism sector, hotels, restaurants, and anything related to tourism, where there was an abrupt stop. And in that case, we have provided a basic wage, which will be then topped up by the employer, and also, shared also with the employee as well. And proportionately for part-timers, self-employed, and those who are on a shorter week.
We've seen a few other European economies implement slightly similar mechanisms. In terms of the Eurozone finance ministers meeting yesterday, do you feel that you've had to compromise more than you wanted to?
No, I think it was a fair compromise. I think there's a misunderstanding about this mutual and collective responsibility and liability. The ESM, where we provide bailouts, which we have used for Greece and other countries, can borrow in our name. So it's already happening. The question of Eurobonds or Corona bonds is the question that whether a particular country, especially a highly indebted country, will be allowed to issue a bond, and all the rest of the countries in the European Union will make up for it by guarantees and so on. I think it's will come one stage to it, but it's not now. I mean, it's a
When do you think it might be? Because there are a few countries vehemently opposed to the Corona bonds. You're not one yourself. How would you try and persuade them that it's necessary?
Well, let's put it this way. If the crisis was like the past one, there is a moral hazard. In other words, nobody wants, credit countries don't want to put money which is then spent by others without any control. But this one, it's nobody's fault. This is the difference between this crisis and other crises. It's not the fault of a particular government because they were, with high debts and high deficits or spending irresponsibly. It just came for health reasons on all the countries. So I think we could have been, and in fact we have been in this package, more lenient to the fact that it's a health issue and it's nobody's fault. So the credit lines which will be provided by the ESM will not be tied like, the Troika with too much restrictions. And if they are spent on health-related expenditure and economic related to this crisis, to this virus, COVID-19, then the credit lines would be forthcoming without the Troika coming down in your country and telling you how to manage the country. This is the difference. The ESM is big. It's a good backstop. It has underutilized capital, so it can provide a lot of credit lines to the country who would be needing it, especially the highly indebted ones.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time, Edward Cicluna, the Finance Minister of Malta, talking to us about that new agreement that they've come to last night.